Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Doni and Mardy McFly.
Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. You are hanging out with me and Mr. Mardy McFly.
Right, and you can see my whole skinniness now.
No, and
I'm behind the table.
Y'all can see the weight loss.
Yes, and it's looking better.
Thank you.
It's looking really.
You didn't say it was looking good, but it's looking better with me, and it still look better. I'm just kidding.
It's a work in progress, and I see the progress working.
I'm working on it.
Okay, just for the ones that we did get some comments and some questions about the grill.
Okay. The barbecue grill.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
But for the event, are we gonna have barbecue?
We are gonna have barbecue. We're gonna, but we're gonna do the regular old school that you pull open. You know, this one was, it was a good idea that the founders that put it out here.
Yeah.
They knew the kind of neighborhood that we were in. So I'm just being honest, because they cemented this thing in.
Yeah.
That me and my little self, I was like, okay, this ain't moving.
So they cemented it into the ground so that it wouldn't walk away.
So it wouldn't walk away. But I'm thankful that we're making progress, and if you can see the whole yard now, we're making progress out here, and I'm so thankful. But the thing that I'm more concerned about is a few days ago, we had a storm. And I see one of the limbs of my tree has fallen down. I'm thankful that it didn't fall towards the church or anything.
I know, right?
But I am curious, Doni, if looking at this, is this tree still healthy?
The tree itself is still healthy. However, over time, just like with any tree, you're gonna get dead, dying, or hazardous limbs. In other words, the tree will start to kind of self-prune. If it's not putting nutrients out, or if it's not putting energy out to certain limbs, those limbs will die back. Or if the tree is just to a point where the root system can only go out so far, it doesn't have enough energy to feed the rest of the canopy, even though that didn't make sense.
Okay, wait. For those that don't know tree language, what's a canopy on top of a tree? Because I'm thinking of a canopy like what they got a tent up there.
It's the branch, the limbs, the foliage, all of the top of the tree. The canopy is the top. For example, now those of y'all that are on the radio, you can't see this, but that's the trunk of the tree. This section right here.
That's the big booty part of it.
Oh my God, did he just say that? And then the part that's above us, that's the canopy. So we're standing up under the canopy of the tree.
Okay.
We're standing up under the canopy of the tree.
Okay.
So yeah, but the limb that broke, the one that broke was actually a dead limb.
Wait, so that big of a dead limb?
Yeah, it's a dead limb. Yeah.
So wait a minute. Now, call me crazy, okay?
Yeah.
All right, now just don't do it for fun.
I'm just saying.
But I see this tree that is fallen, this limb that's fallen, but it has leaves and everything on it.
No. The tree limb that fell does not have leaves on it. It's got a vine on it, and then it fell against another tree, which is a magnolia. This tree is an oak.
Okay.
And this tree is a magnolia, but it looks like the limb that fell, most of the limb was dead. So you might have a few little leaves on it, but most of that was dead. If you see that kind of orange fungusy stuff, and you see how it's dry and brittle on the end, it was a dead limb.
If you're on the radio right now, you really have to go to our YouTube page to see this, because she's fascinating me, because I don't know nothing about a tree, and I gotta even ask some questions, because we did some stuff yesterday.
You guys did a great job yesterday.
Well, let me finish, because you might say, because see, you care about trees a lot more than I do.
I do.
And some of just hear me out, because some of these limbs over here, if y'all want to walk over here, some of these areas over here, we was trimming back.
Look at you!
But we know that there is a process and a way to cut trees now.
Yes, that's true.
Because I would just half cut it and then twist it and just rip it.
Oh, snap. Come on, Mardy. Okay, these limbs right here were cut really good. They did a great job cutting these limbs right here.
Okay.
But that one over there, they cut it and then they let it tear. You don't want to do that. You want to have a nice, clean cut. So whenever you're doing some pruning at home or at the church,
good.
You want to have a nice, but no, I'm serious, Mardy. You did a great job.
Cause see, last year or the year before last, we did some yard cleaning work here at the church, and I had some people just cut a tree up, and everything. And she came back, and she was mad at her whole staff. Like, did they come out here and do that?
I did.
And I'm like, what's wrong with it? It looked good to me.
Yeah.
You know, but then I learned that there's different ways of cutting it.
That wasn't my crew. So I was mad thinking it was my
volunteers.
Thing, but it was some volunteers that.
Yeah.
And we're thankful for volunteers.
We are thankful for them. They didn't volunteer no more after that day.
Can we get a shot of, no, I want to follow you. You go ahead. What were you going to ask?
Well, you know, I wanted to make sure that, for one, for people that don't know, the proper way of cutting a tree, the limbs, or pruning it back, the proper way, because I'm assuming that the way that we cut this one over here, like if you just kind of rip it apart, I guess it doesn't grow or doesn't really damage the life of the tree, or just it doesn't move anymore.
Well, if you're cutting a tree limb, you really want to cut it back to a lateral, and that means back to where there's another little leaf or another little limb branch that will grow out. Now you cut this one and you left a stub. That's what we call leaving a stub. You don't want to leave stubs. You want to cut it back similar to what you did right here. You almost did it. That's pretty close to right. You just should have cut it back a little bit more to where the other little leaf, the other branch kind of goes up. That's what you want to cut it back to. Now if you're cutting it back to the trunk, you want to cut it back to the branch collar.
The branch.
Yeah,
they got a collar?
Yeah.
I ain't know nothing about trees.
But you don't want to cut the branch collar off. You cut it out right there at the branch collar, and you make sure it's a nice, clean cut.
Now, I'm not trying to be funny, honestly. What is the collar?
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
I can't reach it.
What, can you point?
I can point. Okay.
Or can you describe it to people on radio?
Yes.
What's a tree collar?
Okay, you got some bees out here. I'm gonna try to be nice and not act.
Oh, I know I got.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they come with the mulch.
Where the trunk meets, where the limb meets the trunk of the tree, that little swollen part right there is called the branch collar.
Oh, where the limb meets the base of the tree or the main part of the tree.
There you go.
Okay, that's a collar.
He's seeing it better than I am. You're a communicator.
Well, yeah, and then we have to make sure that the people that are listening on radio can really visualize what we're talking about, because you're talking about, well, the canopy and the collar of the tree, and it's like.
But you did ask a question. What's the best way? What's the best way to cut a limb? I always tell people, now this is oversimplified, but there's a pre-cut process. Meaning you want to cut a small cut at the bottom, and then you cut a cut at the top, and then you do a clean cut, finishing cut, right at the branch collar. Okay.
You know, Doni, this is already fascinating. You know, we're gonna go back over to the table and sit down. We're gonna take a quick break. This is gonna be unusual, but we're gonna take a quick break because I'm already fascinated, and I want to write some of this stuff down and just kind of make sure that that I can share. So, look, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Doni Jones Live. With Doni is actually we out in the field.
I know.
At St. Mark Lutheran Church, and we're going through the trees and learning a little bit about how she does her job.
And I also want to trim, I know we're getting ready to go, but I want to trim those limbs away from the building.
I would love to, because well, I can't tell you what we're
Can I give you a price on it?
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.